I was sent to jail for giving jobs to people. I spent about 9 years in jail. When I came back, I contested and became the Prime Minister. I made 104 amendments in the Constitution. Majority take the decision. It is not the Prime Minister. There is a threat on all the borders of Pakistan. We are performing the role which is appreciated throughout the world. Minorities, they were very close to the heart of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. As a Prime Minister, my motto was women and minorities.
Global Gender Gap Index. I think we have the last position this year.
We have given a lot of importance to women. My own leader was a female. Benazir Bhutto Shaheed made a big name in the world.
Thank you very much for being on Empty Out Loud's podcast. I would like to start with your family's background, which has been for generations active in the political landscape. And you yourself have also made real sacrifices. What do you think is different from before to now?
Actually, my family, they entered politics long time back. Mm-hmm. That is more than 430 years back. And that was during the time of United India, during the Mughal Emperor Akbar.
Right.
Emperor Akbar and Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb. And one of my ancestors, his name was Sheikh Musa. Mm-hmm. And he was the Diwan, the governor of Multan during the tenure of Shah Jahan, and followed by his son Aurangzeb. And after limited democracy was given to India, since then we are into politics. And till that date, that was most probably 1921. From 1921 till date, some of us, they're coming in the parliament. And one of my great-grandfather, he was known as the father of the Indian Assembly. And when I visited India during when I was a speaker, the speaker, Shivraj Patel, he took me to the gallery where there were the portraits of the former members of the parliament. And from 1921 to 36, that was my great-grandfather, Makhdoom Rajan Bakhsh Gilani. Then he gave all the photographs to me. And later, his own brother, he became the member of the Central Assembly of India. And in Punjab, my own grandfather and his brother, they both were the member of parliament. They were known as MLAs. Then in 51, then again my father and one of my uncles, they were the member of the parliament. And they were known as MLA. Mm-hmm. And then my father, when he contested, that was 51. And in 53 and 54, he became the Minister for Health, Local Government and Improvement Trust. And after the partition, the first elections of the local government were conducted during his tenure. That was, I think, 54. The first election of the local government elections in Punjab. Then from there, he became the member of the Constituent Assembly of Pakistan. And then he was a signatory to the resolution of Pakistan. It was 1940 as a student. And in 56, he was the signatory to the Constitution of 1956. as his name was in the world who's who. And when they performed their job as a constitution, that assembly was converted to National Assembly. And he was the one who became then member of the National Assembly. And after National Assembly, there was during Ayub Khan's time, all the leadership who fought for Pakistan movement, they were all disqualified under the order of Abdo, elected bodies disqualification orders. Therefore, I have not seen my father in power, because when he was a provincial minister, when he was a federal minister, by the age of 39, his career was ended, because they were not allowed to take part in politics.
Right.
And then my uncles and others, they had been coming. That was the past. That was before even partition. There was no Bangladesh. And after that, my politics started in 83, when I contested the first election of the local council. And then I became the chairman of the district council. Now there are 3 districts where I was the chairman of the district council. Now is Khanewal, Multan, and Lodra. But at that time it was 1 district. And earlier there used to be Biharis with Multan. And at that time my uncle and grandfather, they used to be the chairman. But I defeated the sitting minister for local government and a sitting chairman of the district council, Multan, Pir Sayyid Fakhr Imam. And I contested against him. And then I became the chairman of the district council, Multan. That is how I started my career. Then in 85, there was non-party elections. Then I contested and I became member of the National Assembly independently. And at that time, my father, since he was the member of the CEC of the Muslim League and also the signatory to the resolution of Pakistan, then the United Muslim League, they opted me as a student for the members of the CEC. And then my career started. 85, I was minister for housing and works, urban affairs, environment, and later I became minister for railways. And similarly, again, in the next election, I became the minister for housing and tourism.
Right.
And in the 3rd, 4th election, then I became the speaker of the National Assembly. But then I was sent to jail for giving jobs to people.
Yes.
Then I spent, according to jail manual, about 9 years in jail only. And when I came back, I contested and became the Prime Minister. I'm the only unanimously elected Prime Minister in the history of Pakistan.
Absolutely. Yes.
And the longest serving.
Yes.
Then there was a long pause.
Yes.
And when I came back again, I contested the election of the Senate, membership of the Senate. Normally people are elected from the provinces. I was elected from the National Assembly.
Right.
At that time, Prime Minister was Imran Khan. And whosoever has the majority in the House, he becomes a member. Otherwise, outsider can't become a member. But the entire opposition, they requested me to contest. And I contested on a PPP ticket. And I was victorious. And President Alvi, he conveyed to the Prime Minister, Mr. Prime Minister, you've lost the majority. Take the vote of confidence. The first vote of confidence was made against him when I defeated his finance minister and became member of the Senate. Then I was the leader of the opposition in the Senate. I also contested again, but I became member of the National Assembly. I voted for for the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Prime Minister, President, and then I resigned and again contested Senate. And then I became the chairman of the Senate unopposed. And since then, I'm in this field.
Yes, absolutely. As you just said that you were the longest serving former Prime Minister of Pakistan, how do you see some of your decisions that had the most impact, institutional impact, and it lasts even now?
I think my presence in the House was tremendous. And hardly there was a time, even if I had to go abroad, I used to fix the date for the session where I should be personally present in the House, because we inherited Westminster system. And according to the Westminster system and the parliamentary form of government, we are answerable to the people of Pakistan. Therefore, for question hour, I used to make it a point that I should be present in the House. And in that way, there were 2-3 things which I have achieved. Number one, there was no lack of quorum, because when Prime Minister is sitting, the entire cabinet is sitting. Number two, in question hour, all the ministers were present to answer. And number three, when by any circumstances, if the minister fails to answer, then I used to answer on his behalf, and that used to be almost daily. Because when there is an assurance from the Prime Minister,
Yes.
then the House was satisfied.
Right, a lot of accountability.
And the fourth thing, I can also see the performance of the ministers, who is performing well. And also I was training the parliamentary secretaries to answer on behalf of the ministers. They were also being groomed so that for the next time they should become ministers. Therefore, that was one thing which I think that was what I did. Secondly, Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, our chairman of the party, he made the Constitution of 1973, which is called Unanimous Constitution. And in the Constitution, there was one more house was added, that was the Senate. So the Senate is a new house. And then in that Senate, there was prior to that, there was a lot of discrimination. There was a lot of hue and cry from the smaller provinces that the majority is always from the Punjab, and they form the government. And the legislation is also done by one house. By making another house as a Senate, that was, I think, was a good decision. So the people, they used to be satisfied that any legislation which has to be done, it should be done by both houses by 2/3 majority.
You played a very important role in the amendment, in the 18th Amendment of the Constitution, and that has come under a lot of pressure now. So the tussle between the provincial autonomy and the federal authority. How do you see this resolving?
Majority, they take the decision. It is not the Prime Minister. When I wanted to restore the original constitution of Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, that was the biggest credit which I always take, that whatever the amendments were, I made 104 amendments in the constitution, and that too unanimously. Because when the constitution was made in 1974, people hardly know how many members were present at that time. Even you don't know.
No, we don't.
Because in that time, only 128 members were left in West Pakistan. And the other went to East Pakistan. That made Bangladesh. And when you had to amend the constitution, that was with 128 votes. And when the constitution was made by Zulfikar Ali Bhutto, it was by 128 votes. But when I restored the constitution, during Bhutto Saab's time, it was unicameral system. When I amended the constitution to its original form, it was bicameral system. And there were 446 members as against 128 votes. Out of 446, for your information and for the information of the whole world, none opposed. And everybody voted. So when you vote, when there's a majority, what is democracy? What is parliament? That you have to follow the majority. Now it is not a permanent feature. When any time, at any stage of time, when the parliamentarians or the parliament, they decide otherwise, so what objection I have? Because everybody voted for that. And had this would have been done earlier, there would have been no East Pakistan and there would have been no Bangladesh.
So now there's a lot of talk about more provinces. How do you feel about this?
Actually, when I was Prime Minister, I was the first Prime Minister, and Asif Ali Zardari was the first president who talked about the province. And I talked about the South Punjab province. And then I moved from in the constitution, in whichever the province, you have to make changes or make new province, first the resolution should be passed by that province. We got it passed. Then it came to the National Assembly. I constituted the commission headed by Senator Faratullah Babar. And then there was brainstorming. There were journalists, there were writers, there were thinkers, scholars, politicians, political parties. We made the consensus. And after making the consensus, we moved in the upper house. And in the upper house, we passed without Muslim League Nawaz with 2/3 majority as an act of parliament. But after that, I was no longer the Prime Minister since I was disqualified for not writing a letter, so we could not be successful. But at the same time, my party's stance, especially Chairman Bilawal Bhutto's stance is, in whichever the promise there is consensus, we have no objection. But where there is no consensus, there should be evolve a consensus. Therefore, my party and all political parties of the country, they supported at that time for the Janubi Punjab province, which is known as a Saraiki Belt.
Right.
And that was passed. So my party will have no objection. And I think if anybody has your question, that in more provinces, that is up to the political parties to evolve consensus.
Pakistan People's Party is a powerhouse. And there have been barriers that it has not been able to expand to other provinces such as Punjab or KP. What do you think those barriers have been?
I disagree with you because in 1985, when I hinted that that was my first ever election for the National Assembly, I contested independently. Had People's Party not boycotted, that was the biggest mistake in their life, that even Benazir Bhutto Shahid used to even say publicly, that was my mistake of not taking part in the elections. And because of those elections, then the elections were on the Biradari basis mostly. And those Biradaris, then they joined with General Ziaul Haq. And they formed a party, the King's Party. And that time, People's Party has a tremendous loss. And in Punjab, then People's Party never came back because those who were electables and those who were from the People's Party stalwarts, they joined hands with the King's Party. And that was the mistake. And even after that, in 88, we had 109 seats in Punjab. And there was a coalition government with Muslim League in Punjab. And the others who were all independents, they joined with Muslim League. Otherwise, mostly people, stalwarts, you have been seeing in the Muslim League or in the PTI, they're all from People's Party. The nursery, the training ground is People's Party.
The concept of democracy really means that you deliver to the people. What role can Parliament play in actually delivering in this time of a lot of economic instability?
Even if you feel that there is less democracy or you can't deliver as people are expecting, the answer is if democracy fails, you give more democracy. Therefore, it doesn't mean if you think that it can't deliver, you should abandon democracy. You can't do that. But at the same time, whatever little is left here at the moment, I think they are delivering. They're playing their part. And if I invite you to visit Senate and see their debates, and there are a lot of people from all walks of life, from lawyers, from students, from army, from other bureaucracy, and they sit in the boxes to listen speeches, and they're satisfied. But at the same time, we are passing through a unique situation where it is almost a security state. There is a threat on all the borders of Pakistan. On our eastern border is India. On our western border is Afghanistan. And adjacent is Iran. So we are in a unique situation, and yet we are performing the role which is appreciated throughout the world, that Pakistan is playing the role of peace and reconciliation. Because wars are not the solutions. And that is not appreciated, and that's a distraction. So we are trying our level best to play a role so that there should be peace in the world.
So while brokering this peace deal, do you think there will be some internal risk that Pakistan will have to face?
No, there is no internal rift. Pakistan is united, and all the political forces are supporting the government and supporting the civil and the military leadership. They are on the same page. Therefore, there is no need to be scared. We are all united, and we all are struggling, and we are all against extremism and terrorism, and we all support peace in the world. I'm also the founding chairman of the Interparliamentary Speakers Conference, ISC, and we held the peace conference in November last year. And maybe you recall the theme of that conference was peace, security, and development. And on very first day, there was a blast in Islamabad, and there were 11 people. They were martyred, and nobody left. Everybody was sitting there, and even the Sri Lankan speaker was here, and they were convincing that the cricket team should come and play. So everybody supported Pakistan at that time, and my year will be ending this year, first year. And definitely we will be celebrating, because our job is to bring peace in the world.
You have been a big proponent of political reconciliation. And in today's polarized environment, do you think it's still possible, and when?
Still we are doing it, and still possible. And I've already answered that the whole world is appreciating our role. Even nobody is against it. Everybody wants peace, and everybody is suffering because when there is a war, the fuel prices have gone up. When the fuel prices have gone up, even then inflation has gone up.
Yes.
And people can't stand. And there were a lot of concern amongst the common man. They only want things to be in proper shape.
With such a young population, are we doing enough to bring the youth in decision making?
Pakistan is one of the important countries where the population of youth is over 60%. And they really need, so that they should work hard. They're all, majority of them, they're working in IT. And they're doing their jobs. But we are trying our level best that internationally we should create opportunities for them to work abroad. And we are giving them training, vocational training, so that they should get jobs according to their skills.
Pakistan is very rich in different cultures, languages, and religions. But when we're talking about inclusion, we're still not talking about minorities coming at the forefront. How do you think Pakistan can actually give them the space, whether in decision making as well as flourishing otherwise in socio-economic spaces?
When there was no constitutional amendment for the inclusion of the minorities in the upper house, then we amended the constitution, and some seats were reserved for the minorities. When there was no representation from the minorities, People's Party used to give Muslim seats to the minorities. And number two, minorities, they were very close to the heart of Quaid-e-Azam Muhammad Ali Jinnah. And therefore, for the national flag, the white portion represents the minorities. As a Prime Minister, my motto was women and minorities, they are my constituency. And when there was Christmas or their events, I used to go to the church with them. Though I've studied from a missionary schools, St. Mary's Convent and La Salle, they were all the minorities. They were running these institutions, but at the same time, we gave a lot of importance to minorities. And even now, in the National Assembly, during my tenure, we made Women Caucus, and recently I made the Minorities Caucus in the Senate. So whatever the rights are, we are trying our best. And there is a lot of legislation being done in the parliament for the minorities.
Women are now at the forefront almost when it comes to the political leadership and roles. However, Pakistan still keeps on falling when it comes to the global gender gap index. I think we have the last position this year, 148.
We have given a lot of importance to women because my own leader was a female. And Benazir Bhutto Shahid made a big name in the world. And she was the first Muslim female prime minister at the age of 35. And she really sent a very good message to the world. And therefore, People's Party, they believe in women empowerment. When I was prime minister, my own daughter, Faiza, she was the goodwill ambassador for women empowerment. And in every walk of life, like speaker, we gave a female. Like deputy speaker, at that time, we gave female. When I have to give the governor for Kyrgyz-Baltistan, I gave a female. And so as a minister, there are a lot of ministers and a lot of judges during our tenure, they were female. And we made a lot of incentives for women in distress, or they are in crisis, or they should have their own court. We tried our best to accommodate them, and we are doing it. But certainly there is a perception abroad different from the reality.
Absolutely. We have some very short questions for you because people like to get to know about you. What is your favorite hobby?
My favorite hobby is gardening.
Really? And you've always been doing that?
While I was in jail, I had vigorous imprisonment, saza ba mushaqqat, and I opted for gardening. And my garden of the jail was the beautiful one. I planted all the roses and other plants getting from abroad and make it better than the PM house garden.
One place in Pakistan you return to for peace?
That is Islamabad.
Really? Fantastic. One leader who you deeply are influenced by?
For me, the leader is Benazir Bhutto Shahid.
One habit for your well-being?
I am very regular, like a Englishman, for my eating habits, for my timings, for my exercise, and for everything. I am punctual. I follow the times.
Message to the youth?
The message for the youth will be they should be focused and they will achieve whatever they want.
Thank you very much. It has been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you. Likewise.